I'm here today with Tegan Devar, and we're going to be having a conversation today about a recent piece that Tegan's just had published, The Generation Gap, that seems to be plaguing so many organizations at the moment, and leaders are really struggling to navigate this gap. So you've written this very, very interesting piece. It's called Supporting Young Leaders in the Workplace: How to Bridge the Gap. What you're saying is very valid, because I also think it's tempting for us as older leaders to look back and almost want to replicate how we had it in the past. But that wasn't a great way of being, to be thrown in. And, we talk about, Brené Brown, the writer and researcher, talks about this need that people have for connection, for love and belonging. That's the fundamental, irreducible need of human beings. And we've stopped that at the door of the office, haven't we? We've kind of gone, okay, well, that's all for home. And when you come here, you've got to just put your game face on. We always had to. And just get on with it, just get on with it and be resilient. Kind of just having to force your way through your work. What are the stakes of this, though? That's my question, because I'm talking with young people and they're just not necessarily prepared to have to take on that legacy. What do you think the stakes of us not having these conversations between generations is, and how is it going to impact the future of organizations?
Yeah, thank you for that, Justin. Not just organizations, through our country as well. These are the leaders of the future. And so we have to really think about, how do we support young people? In a context with high youth unemployment, young people is where it's at. So how do we as leaders find ways to mentor, to pass on skills, to partner with government, to find ways to onboard young people, create business, to come up with ideas and supporting them with that? I think it is a huge, huge, huge challenge that we need to be jumping on, and we need to be finding innovative ways. It's not just for organizations to thrive, but it's for the future of our country. It's the future of our societies. And how do we grow the leaders that are going to be leading the future, in a planet, profit, and people world?
You've given some really sort of key insights, some hints and tips here for how we can navigate this gap. So that's really useful. Perhaps as we bring this segment to a close, what would be the one or two low-hanging fruits, perhaps, that you would encourage? And let's talk about organizations in this particular context, but this would apply perhaps to families, communities, places of worship, wherever people congregate. What would be the one or two things you would advise people start with in order to bridge this generational gap?
So the one I had spoken about, and that is adopting a learning mindset. So don't come in saying, oh, what is this one person going to teach me? What can they teach me? Go into it with a learning mindset. Say, I'm going to learn from this person. They're going to learn from me. We're going to learn together. And I think that immediately creates space and openness for possibility. The next thing, seek input. I'm always amazed by young people and the power of young people. I will come with an idea and they will take that, they will either tear it apart, they'll come up with something better, they'll find a better way in which to make it accessible to people. They often know the latest trends and what's going on. So consult, seek input from young people. You will always be surprised by what comes out if you ask the question. One of the big things organizations can do is create space for intergenerational connection. Absolutely. Whether that is your social gatherings, whether it's creating a forum, whether it is even in how you structure your workspace, a mentorship or buddy system program, allow intergenerational connection to happen so that generations can pass skills to one another. Think about the environmental workspace and how can you create spaces that encourage intergenerations to interact and connect with one another. I think that's one of the biggest things we can do as organizations and as leaders. The other thing is providing mentorship and support right from the outset. So make it easy for young people to understand your organization, to understand how it works, but beyond that, the unwritten norms within that organization, because that's really going to help young people feel that they belong, feel that they can have voice, feel that they understand, okay, this is who I can go to, these are the questions that I can ask, allow that to happen. And young people, when you enter a workspace, to have that initial conversation with your leader about expectations. What do you expect from me? How do you all normally do things? Ask for templates, ask for examples of reports or whatever the case is, so that you get clarity about what is expected, and also share what you would expect from your leader and how they can support you best. So right from the outset, there's this contract about how we work together and how we see each other, and that we're going to learn together on the journey. And then spoke about regular feedback. And I think that's really important. Giving regular feedback constantly, because that can be really motivating for young people. I understand what I'm doing well. I understand what I need to work on. I understand where I'm going to. It just creates structure. It clarifies expectations and goals, and allows young people to feel, again, that I'm a part of a bigger whole and I'm contributing to something important. And then I think another thing that leaders can do is creating spaces for experimentation. So finding a low-risk project and allowing young people to try it out. Say, go for it. And it doesn't matter what the outcome is, support you with it, but try it. And young people might be a little, scared to try it initially, but again, pushing them to give it a go, because I think that's really going to build confidence, and also giving a project that allows them quite a lot of autonomy to try it in any way they choose to, because you will be surprised by what the outcome will be as well. You can have a particular idea of what that can be, but the answers lie with people. And I often am surprised by how young people are so innovative, try new ways that I never even thought about, and really make a success out of it. And even through failure, we can sit down and say, okay, what did we learn from this? What can we do better? So turning it into a learning moment. I think those are things that organizations can practically do, and it's really going to make a difference in terms of how we onboard young people, how they feel about their organizations, and that it becomes more meaningful. It's not just a tick the box exercise or something I do just to get a paycheck.
What I love about this conversation is that diversity, equity, and inclusion is so relevant, so topical at the moment in businesses. And yet this age and the generation gap is so seldom discussed. And yet we know that diversity is so linked to innovation. So if we want to keep our organizations, if we want our communities to continue to grow and innovate, this becomes mission critical. It's not just about having conversations, nice conversations so everybody feels warm and fuzzy. It's about how do we harness the gifts and talents of the broadest, diversest range of people across gender, across race, across age, to get these innovative outcomes that we're seeking in our organizations. Thank you for this conversation. This article is so powerful. And again, it's available on the PeopleSmart website, peoplesmart.global, on the PeopleSmart LinkedIn page, and in a number of publications. So thank you for the piece, and thank you for your work.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you to everyone for watching.